Hey folks, welcome back to another Paul Massive Dance, and tonight we have Sidney and Mega Absol dropping in the game, right? So as usual, I will be summoning live on that, so make sure y'all subscribe, notifications to check out the summon stream as soon as possible, because the last one was actually pretty good, the Faulkner one. So another spotlight, so hopefully we get as good as I'd say as the Faulkner log, hopefully. So anyways, let's get into today's topic at hand. So Sin and Absol. So when I first saw this kit, I was like, oh my god, this thing is terrible. And it still isn't great, right? But after looking at some numbers, it has a use, I guess, right? It does do a decent amount on the Sync Nuke, right? It is definitely a really solid Sync Nuker, that's for sure. So thankfully my guy has some use. You could use him as a dark type Sync Nuker, right? So like he does like around, I'd say like Incineroar damage, right? Around Incineroar damage. In terms of the Sync Nuke, not in terms of regular move damage. This guy's regular move damage does nothing, right? Does nothing, because like look at his kit, right? Straight up. Right? The attack is not bad, but it's also not like crazy either, right? It's much better when you mega, but like your moves are Night Slash and Brutal Swing. Night Slash being a 2 gauge and then has a penalty on the +1 crit on your BP, and Brutal Swing is an AoE, you know, 2 gauge move with no additional effects, 100% accuracy, right? Like these don't hit very hard. Okay, you have like Crit Strike 3 here, you have Crit Strike 3 on Night Slash, I think Crit Strike 5 on something else or something, right? Crit Strike 5 on Brutal Swing. Don't get fooled by the critical strikes. They do nothing. They do no damage. Crit Strike does no damage here, right? It's terrible. Don't get fooled by the fact that, oh look, it's Crit Strike. No, it doesn't. These moves do no damage, right? These are terrible moves. However, again, the Sync move does do a lot of damage, right? Sync move does do a lot of damage when it's Mega Absol, right? So I guess like the second Sync, right, does almost as much as Incineroar. So like, even if you look at like things in a positive way, it's still not very good. Like, it does almost as much as Incineroar's Sync Nuke damage on the second Sync, basically. And your first Sync you have to sync with Absol, unlike Incineroar. And first Sync you could sync with a EX support, right? And get there, right? The first Sync you have to sync with Absol, so you get the well, you don't have to, but like, you know, to get the Mega Absol stats there. So it's still not very good, right? And like the bulk of his kit is around like crit confuse, right? When you crit the opponent, it leaves them confused, and then you have to stop hitting yourself. It's just a lot of confused stuff, but like the thing is, confusion is just not that great at the moment. There aren't that many units that have a lot of confusion multipliers. Maybe in the future, if we get more units with better confusion multipliers, right? Very big confusion hitters that also need someone else to confuse, because I would also assume if we do have big confusion hitters in the future, they would also bring confusion themselves. But, you know, if in a hypothetical world in the future there's a unit that needs confusion for big multipliers, does not have confusion himself for some reason, right, then, okay, Absol, fantastic there. But at the moment, there isn't that unit, right? There just isn't that unit. There are units that use confuse, but either they already have confusion themselves, or aren't that great either, right? So it's just not in a very good spot right now, Absol, right? It's overall kit. Looking at its Sync Grid, again, you get the CS3 and CS5 and Brutal Swing and Night Slash, which is again complete fraud, right? The reason why it does do a lot of damage is, first of all, you do have the multiplier on your Sync move, right? Over here, if the opponent's confused. And then you have Crit Strike 3, which does count for Sync moves, right? Catastrophe 5 extra, you know, 50%. Fuzzy Striker 2, you got a few, you know, Sync move power up nodes, 4 in fact, right? So this does help you do a decent amount of damage on your Sync, right? But outside of that, your kit doesn't really do too much. You have the Potion Master Healer stuff, which is nice, right? Which is, I mean, it's nice, but it's also pretty much standard nowadays for potion units, right? So it's not anything special. First aid is, I don't know, you're not tanking with this guy, so like, is first aid that big of a deal? Unless you're trying to do something like super desperate first aid, so you you know, get yourself low on purpose. You trigger the super effective up next, then you super effective up your big sink, which will do a lot of damage, right, if that's the case. But then, you know, you heal back up with the first aid. That's very, very wacky, but I guess it is potentially a strategy, right? You could do a crit charge, 9, gives you 1 gauge back when you crit. So it is pretty good for gauges overall, I'd say, even though, you know, the speed's not insane, but it's good enough, right? Actually, once you mega it, it's actually pretty good. But you don't have any, like, speed buffs, but the crit charge thing does help. Actually, wait. No hard feelings. Never mind. No speed. Right. But yeah, that's Absol and Sidney, right? That's basically the kit. Obviously, in terms of if you should use your free-to-play gems on this guy right now, unless you're a huge Sidney fan, which I know there are. I mean, Sidney's great. I mean, I love Sidney, right? One of my favorite Elite Fours. Or if you love Absol a lot, and I know a lot of people love Absol as well. I like Absol, right? But, or Mega Absol, right? But no, this is definitely not a unit you want to be spending your free-to-play gems on. A few weeks before anniversary, with the Lear banner still up, with the Singsu Leon banner coming soon, this is not a banner you want to be spending your free gems on, right? Again, if you buy gems and you do whatever, right? If you fine, go for Sidney if you want. But again, if you are free to play, if you don't whale on this game, this is definitely not something you want to spend your gems on right now, right? Like, you'd rather spend it on like Lear or Singsu Leon, even if you don't want to save. If for some reason you don't want to save for an anniversary, at least spend it on like Lear or Singsu Leon. Don't spend it on Absol, right? Again, he's gonna be in the general pool, even if you really, really like his kit for some reason. And it's a fun unit to play with. It's just not very good, right? But yeah, big sync nuke. In terms of like how many copies do you need it to be like really useful? I'd say, I mean, yeah, I don't know. You kind of have to go for 3 for like all the sync, extra sync move multipliers, the potent stuff, right? So yeah, it's something that you'll get eventually, slowly build through getting it off of just general pool pulls, right? And if you miss out on them, no big deal, not that great, right? Anyways, so like I don't even see a scenario like with some other spotlight units. A lot of times there are justifications to pull for them. Either they're like super strong like May, right? Or they fill a, certain purpose that like there's, if you really are lacking in this area, you could pick them up, right? There's just none of that for Absol. Like, okay, if you really need a good dark type damage healer, you still should want to summon on him. You want to summon on someone else, right? There are other better units that you could, spend your resources on over this guy, right? So again, he's not terrible. Very powerful. It's like a 3 million something sync nuke, right, or something. I can't remember the exact, but it's just a bit under Incineroar, which is very good, right? But like just overall, Incineroar is just so much better of a unit overall, right? Because Incineroar, even though it takes him forever to build up on his darkest lariat, right? And even though he builds up, doesn't do that much damage eventually, but it still does more than Absol, right? His darkest lariat does more than Absol. And he gives your full team max speed, right? Plus 6 speed for a whole team. That's fantastic. And Dishearten, which could debuff the opponent's defenses, is just more useful than confusing the opponent. Generally, right? So yeah, I don't know. I guess Absol's easier to set up. All you need to do is confuse the opponent once, which is very easy with Absol, and then you crit them. But like overall, this is not a fantastic unit. I mean, it's just in comparison to other units, but like obviously in his own right, you could definitely use him and easily, cream any master mode stages or whatever, right? Especially Dark Week, but again, it's just not the It's not the best. Anyways, that's me for this one. I guess hope you all enjoy. Let me guys think in the comments down below. Like, share this video, subscribe to channel for some more fun as content. Personally, I will be summoning on this. So yeah, hopefully I don't have to spend too many gems on this. But yeah, anyways, check out the summon streams later tonight when the reset happens, when this goes live. Also later today we will be talking about some anniversary units, speculation, potential, happenings. So stay tuned for that as well, right? Make sure all subscribe, get all the videos, and I'll see you guys in the next one then.